Welcome to Community Watch. And today we have an exciting show about GHC basketball. We'll be talking to Coach Harrell and Coach Merritt about the women's and men's basketball team. Stay with us. Community Watch starts now.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg.
Good, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm excited about this show.
Well, you should be. We have at Georgia Highlands what has to be one of the most impressive athletic programs in I don't know how big an area, but a pretty big area. And our women's team has just won a conference. Our men's team is about to start won their conference, or we'll get it all straightened out with our guest today, because this is the time of year where things get pretty complicated for me, and I need a lot of guidance. But you, being a athletic, former athlete and a athletic follower, much more than myself, I'm sure you've got a much better handle on things.
No, I don't. And that's why I'm so excited about this show. And I'm not going to harp on it, but I just believe somehow our athletic department just doesn't get the press that it deserves. I mean, we've accomplished a lot in a short period of time, and I still don't think most of the people realize that. So I'm interested today that we're talking to the guests that we have so we can shed some light on the success and the future of the athletics department at Georgia Highlands College.
Well, we've got with us today Brandan Harrell, who is the athletic director and the women's team head coach. Welcome to the show. And also Coach JJ Merritt, who is the head coach for the men's team. It's great to have you both with us.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the invite.
Definitely. Thank you a lot.
Well, tell us, Coach Harrell, we might as well start with what the women's team has just accomplished for folks who may not know, because it's pretty remarkable.
Well, yes, thank you. Look, I have a group of student athletes who I'm extremely proud of, extremely grateful for. They have worked their behinds off really for 2 years, and they're just good kids, coachable kids. They're just a lot of fun to be around, and so we got a group of kids that just success will always follow them in wherever they go and whatever they do, because that's who they are. But they've been able to put together a pretty impressive run this year, coming off a second round national tournament loss last year. We returned 6 players, and they put their heads down and really went to work this year. I think we're up to, I don't quote me, but I think it's somewhere around 26 straight wins. We just won our conference championship on Saturday. Because of that win streak, we've been able to maneuver up in the national polls. We've been sitting at number 3 for a while. We will host our district championship game this Saturday, and then on Sunday we wait for our seeding to the national tournament, which will be in Lubbock in a couple of weeks.
Well, let me let me make sure that I have this fact correct. And you mentioned that you've been sitting at this level for a while. Number 3 in the country.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Let's get a little smile out of that. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
A little bit more clarity for me, Doc, but Coach Harrell. So y'all number 3, and what is it? A particular division, region?
Yeah, it's NJCAA, which is the National Junior College Athletic Association, Division I school. So there are about 170 NJCAA Division I schools in the country.
So number 3, I mean, that's something to be very proud of.
Yes, absolutely. As it's a testament to the work that our student athletes have put in and the success that they've had.
All right, we're gonna belabor that, Doc, but we're going to celebrate that somehow. Number 3, just that alone needs to be celebrated. We'll talk about that later.
Do the rankings are the rankings affected by the tournament which just happened?
No, actually, last week was the last national poll for the year. So at the end of the national tournament, the national office will release a end of year poll. But because the tournaments have started, there will not be any more national polls.
And help me understand again, what is the next step for the women's team?
Well, because Georgia, our Georgia conference or Georgia region, as the NJCAA defines it, is fairly small. When you win the state of Georgia, that doesn't automatically put you into the national tournament. Although sitting at number 3, we believe even if we were to lose Saturday, we would still get an at-large bid to the national tournament. But winning our conference does not automatically put you into the national tournament like it does on the men's side. So we have to play what's called a district game with the region or conference winner from the North Carolina, South Carolina region, which this year is Spartanburg Methodist College. So we'll host them on Saturday, and that technically will be the district championship game, which is technically the automatic qualifier to the national tournament. And so, we've played them twice this year. They're a pretty scrappy team. And we're busy preparing for them.
So I guess I should say when the Georgia Highlands women's team wins that game, then they will automatically go to the nationals.
Correct.
And even if something really weird happens and they don't win, they still have a decent chance to go.
Yes, we believe because our national tournament brings in 8 at-large teams throughout the country. We believe that we've done enough up to this point to get an at-large bid at worst. Yes.
And when will the national games begin, and where will they be?
First, actually, for the men and women, the NJCAA will do a selection show on Sunday. So that's when they'll announce all of the seating and the at-large bids for both tournaments, for the men's tournament and the women's tournament. The women's tournament this year will actually begin on Wednesday, March the 16th in Lubbock, Texas.
All right. Well, while we're talking about the women, tell us a little bit about your team. And you said you had quite a few returning this year. And how challenging is it? Because I know You've got, and this is true, I suppose, of the men as well. You've got individuals coming together from all over the place. So getting them to play as a unified group must be pretty challenging.
Well, it is, and Coach JJ can tell you as well that the more returners you have, the more maturity you have, it begins to make our job a little bit easier because there's this inherent need to be successful. They want to get recruited. They want to get to the next level. They want to right all the wrongs from last year. I mean, last year we were regular season conference champions, hosted the tournament and lost in overtime in the conference championship game. Still got an at-large bid to the national tournament, got beat in the second round. So you have all those kids coming back that went through that. They went through those ups and downs. So that just motivates them to work harder and play harder and be more coachable. So, when you have that maturity returning, it really makes our job easier.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the men, Coach Merritt. You mentioned that you have a tournament coming up.
Yes.
What's the status of the men's team?
Well, we just wrapped up our season this past regular season this past Saturday, and we were blessed to be regular season champs for this back-to-back, second year in a row. And this Tuesday, well, tomorrow, we actually host our first round game against Gordon State at 7 p.m. And that starts our tournament run. And hopefully we can have similar success to Coach Harrell and the women's team. We both did, like, as he brought back 6 girls from his team from last year, I brought back 8 guys. So we do have a pretty consistent group that kind of know what's to be expected. We actually got upset last year in the first round. So I think our guys, 8 guys that were here, are I think a little bit more motivated because, we were 16-2 going into that game. And we everything that could go wrong just went wrong. And so we're a little bit more motivated to get past that and make a run.
Now, Coach Merritt, you said y'all were what champions, back-to-back champions?
The regular season champs, the GCAA regular season champs.
Because y'all throwing out the championships like they're just nothing. Like, we were just back-to-back champions,
Hey,
So wait a minute. So y'all was the regional champs last year and this year for the boys?
For the regular season, yes.
Regular season, okay.
And then you go into the tournament, just like, say in the ACC, Duke may win the regular season, but then they also have the tournament champion as well.
Yeah.
So the past 2 years, we've actually we tied for first 3 years ago, won it outright last year, and won it outright this year.
Well, Greg, I just get the impression this is just business as usual. It's no biggie. Winning championships, no big deal. We just move on to the next thing.
I know, and I don't know if any of you gentlemen know this because the program is not that old. So how old is the athletic program for boys and for the men and the women? How old is that program?
Actually, this year is our 10th year.
So
it's our 10th season.
So how many championships have y'all won in 10 seasons? Being it regular season, conference, whatever, how many championships have you won?
I'll let you go first, Coach.
Yeah, on the women's side, this is our second regular season championship. This is our second GCA conference tournament championship and will be our 3rd trip to the national tournament.
Well, hold on, JJ. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to know how many championships the boys has won as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
I know you've had your moments of doubt and struggle, and I'm here to say I'm proud of you.
And although each one of us may take a different path, may we look back upon today as the moment we stepped into a larger world, a greater world.
You will pass this way but once. Do it right.
If ever there was a time to follow your passion and do something that matters to you, now is certainly that time.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and today we're having an exciting discussion with Coach Harrell and Coach Merritt from Georgia Highlands College. And before we went on break, JJ, Coach Harrell had told us the number of championships the girls have in 10 years, which was 2 regular, 2 something else, and the 3rd trip to the Nationals. What about the boys? What kind of success have we had over the 10 years for the men?
We've actually either won or tied for the regular season championship 6 times, and we've been to the national tournament 3 times.
Wow. So in a short 10-year stint, the men and women basketball team has been very successful, not only individually, but collectively just very successful.
We've been pretty blessed. That's what I'll say.
But
And that's good, but I gotta be honest. I'm kind of upset because I just don't think the community realizes how successful that program has been in such a short amount of time. You know, most programs, I would think it just takes time to get them in, recruit, build up. But it seems like just from the beginning, we've just had we've been very fortunate to have some very good athletes come through here. And I don't know what we do, Doc, but we got to do something. The community has to have more of an understanding of how fortunate we are to have such great athletes come through here and the championships we've amassed in such a short period of time.
Well, clearly the coaches are doing what they need to do. But you're right. I don't. Maybe because the program is still relatively new, relatively young. But that gym ought to be rocking. So I don't know. Maybe this show will bring a little attention to the program, but I think hopefully folks will find out some details about the upcoming tournament that will conclude the season for this year, and we can start a push for the next season. But you're right. I mean, these are both teams that are making a very impressive run, and something the community should be hugely proud of. And Georgia Highlands, as you know, we are present in multiple counties in Northwest Georgia. We serve a big portion of this part of the state. These are teams that a multiple county area should be very proud of and be happy to support. So hopefully we can bring some attention to that and get folks excited about their community team, which is making noise nationally.
Coach Harrell or Coach Merritt, my question is, so because I know this is a 2-year school for the most part, so I'm quite sure you losing students every year, unlike a 4-year school, which has some time to really get kids in, students in, and kind of develop them that second and hopefully by that 3rd year, but y'all really have to get them in and go and be on the run from the jump, do you not? Because you're not guaranteed to keep them 3 years.
No, I'll jump in. We've got a couple of kids that were able to come back because of COVID. So COVID impacted recruiting really in every sport at every level. Baseball, softball, basketball, football, with different governing bodies, NCAA, NJCA, given some relief years, some giving a year of eligibility back. But you're right. We're typically rebuilding every year. In a perfect world, every year of 12 players, you would have 6 freshmen and 6 sophomores, right? So you move those 6 sophomores on, you bring 6 freshmen in the next year. It never really works out that way, or very rarely works out that way. But you're bringing in, JJ in particular, us as well. A lot of times we're bringing in 1-year kids. They went to a Division I school as a freshman. Maybe they didn't develop. Maybe wasn't a big enough school. There's a lot of different reasons, but they come back to JUCO for 1 year, up their recruiting, and then go back. So you're dealing with a lot of different dynamics, kind of a revolving door. But to me, this is the best level to coach at, because not only are we recruiting kids to come play for us, we're also getting those kids hopefully to their dream school, where they, the schools they want to be at. And to me, I think that's the most rewarding thing that we do.
Just to piggyback on what Coach Harrell just said is, he just mentioned, we do get a lot of 1-year guys. And at the end of the day, I've been here 9 years, and I think this is by far the most we've ever brought back. But up until this year, because of COVID, I think the most we brought back was 2 or 3 guys. And that's out of 12, 13, 14. I think 1 year we had 15 guys on the team, and we only brought back 1 or 2 guys. So every year, it's restocking, reteaching. And it's good, though, you do have 1 or 2 that can come back, because they can kind of be your leaders and set the precedent on what's expected. But it is tough. And as Coach Harrell said, this is my level of choice. I've talked to D1 coaches, had D1 opportunities, D2 opportunities. I actually had an opportunity to go to Shorter a while back. But this right here, I think, I think we impact the most amount of kids' lives at this level, because we are helping kids get the dream schools. We're getting kids that don't have an opportunity, that maybe because of grades, maybe because they had some behavioral issues at other schools, and give them a second chance. I mean, we've had several kids here that some schools just wouldn't recruit because of their image or who they were, and we brought here, we're able to change them around. And now, I mean, I could give a kid's name, Tyleek Evans. I talk about him as a success story all the time. As he come from a gang-infested environment and back home, and we stuck with him, and now he's actually overseas, getting paid a lot of money, and as far as first generation college graduate. Now he's making a lot of money overseas. Actually, we're just European Player of the Year in his region. So those are the types of success stories that keeps me going. I mean, winning ball games is one thing, but being able to talk to those guys that are overseas, Ty Cockfields, the Kevon Davenports, then also talking to Kamar McKnight, the DeAndre Bernards, those guys, and seeing like a Langston Wilson playing in Washington yesterday on TV, just watching him. That's what makes this enjoyable for me.
And I know Doc got a lot of questions, so I'm going to go ahead and get mine in. Because one thing I like about Highlands too, though, I think prior to Highlands, everybody thought at every county school in this 5-county area that they just had a bunch of stars, which they do. But I don't think people realize the caliber of play at Highlands, because there's not a lot of kids that come out of this Northwest Georgia area that get recruited by Highlands. Am I wrong? I mean, because the level of play at Highlands is not a joke. It's not like this is some pickup game. I mean, you really got to play to be recruited and play at Georgia Highlands.
I'll let Coach start. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different level. We would love to have more area. I think that's how one way to build up kind of local support or local interest or local curiosity. But it is a very high level, and it's, it's a totally different level than high school. We talk to people all the time. A lot of kids that we bring in on visits, we had 3 or 4 different high school teams represented here this weekend at our tournament. And for a lot of them, it's the first time ever seeing a college game in person, and they watch them on TV, but it comes across differently. So when they see the speed and they see how hard kids play and the size of every player, not that we have great size on our current team, but they see that in person. It's like, wow, I didn't expect that. And it's probably even more true on the men's side because, those guys are just giants, all up and down the bench. So not only giants, but they can run, jump, shoot, pass, dribble. They can do all those things. So it typically is an eye opener when young kids or high school age kids come watch us play in person.
Yeah, and I actually try to identify one area kid to try to go after. Like this year, we're talking to Patrick Shelley over at Darlington. I think is a really, really good basketball player. And like last year, we talked to, and signed Justin Smith. But I think what happens is the taller kids who, our point guard, we have some smaller ones, but Javis Harvey's 6'5" and could play a point guard for us. We have CJ Jackson is 6'7", that's a combo guard. And if you're 6'7" in Rome, Georgia or Floyd County, you're playing in the post. You probably can't handle the ball. You can't shoot the three. And so it just doesn't translate. Only kid that's I think has been successful for us that's come here. Deshaun Ware was a really good role player for us. I think from Pepperell. I love Deshaun. I actually trained him before he came here. But that being said, VJ Saxon, because his athleticism translated over in his motor. And to be undersized and not, have a jump shot or this and that, you have to have something that's unique, like a motor or or just a freak athlete. And so that's why they translated. But I try, we try. I know Coach Harrell definitely tries. He's actually brought in some girls from around the area over the past couple of years. We have as well. But and I definitely think that would help with the community awareness by bringing guys, 1 or 2 every year if we can. But it just doesn't work out that way. I just doesn't work out.
Hey, you ain't got to be apologetic. It is what it is. This is college basketball. It's a different level. And if kids want to get there, they going to have to practice harder, play harder. But I know we don't have a lot of time, but Coach Harrell, you the coach of the year, correct?
Well, some say coach of the year. I prefer to say bus driver of the year because that has been my role this year is drive the bus, get them there safe and let them do their thing.
You've apparently done that very well this year.
Yes, he has.
We've got them. We've got, knock on wood, we've got them to every game safely so far this year.
Well, let me ask one thing before we run out of time. For folks that want to follow the team, want to know a game schedule or about the tournaments coming up, is there a place they can go to find that out?
We have a GHC Athletics Facebook page. GHCChargers.com is our athletics page for all the schedules, rosters, all of that stuff. You can also find us on Twitter at GHC Athletics. And I'm sure there's some other stuff out there. I'm not
YouTube
a social
channel.
media.
YouTube channel as well.
Yep. We have a Charger Sports Network YouTube channel that we live stream all of our home games on. So there are a lot of different avenues to find us. It depends on, the person's, preferred media as to where they can find us at.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. Good luck in the remaining tournaments, and we hope to have you back again soon.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Bye now, and thanks for being with us on Community Watch.